Good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Waukegan City Council, November 17th, 2014. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest. Present. Alderman May. Present. Alderman Belko. Present. Alderman Rivera.
Present.
Alderman Cunningham. Present. Alderman Conken.
Present.
Alderman Moiseo.
Present.
Alderman Beedling. Present. Alderman Newsome.
Present.
Reverend Colburn, please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you again for another city council meeting. We thank you for all your blessings. Never tired to come and ask you to bless our city, bless our mayor, bless these aldermen, bless every department here, especially our police department and fire department. We pray for all of our people. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderman, please, when you speak, please speak into the microphone. There's been some concerns about the audience can't hear you. Mayor's comments. I would like to thank the staff, my staff. I'd like to thank all those people, the aldermen included, who stood by the bridge development. The bridge development, for those who may not know, is a $150 million development. It's going to have 3,500 jobs when it's completed. It took us about 18 months to get that done, but I have to thank the aldermen and the staff, my staff, for the dedication and commitment to this community. And I want you to know within the next several months, we've got another project coming in at $22 million. Wow. So we're going to have two major projects within the next several months. Beth Sheehan Lucas, are you here? Beth, you have a presentation of Catholic Charities Youth Mentoring. Please go to the mic, ma'am.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, well, thank you so much for your time and for this opportunity. I'm Beth. I'm coordinator of the Youth Mentorship Program at Catholic Charities. And I just came here because I wanted to tell you about our program. It's really exciting, and it's happening right here, right here, South Louis, right here. And basically what we do, we match adult volunteer mentors with 9 to 12-year-old at-risk Waukegan kids. We basically, I better keep my notes here. I guess I want to say it is really wonderful to see what happens when the mentors just show up, rain or shine, every week. They come see their kids, just spend time together. And it can be anything from, going for a walk, grabbing a bite to eat, going to a movie, going to the zoo, just spending time. It's just all about the relationship. It's very easy to find kids who are in great need. I work very closely with the school social workers in the Waukegan school district. And everyone would benefit from a mentor, but we try to pick the kids who would benefit the most. The challenge is finding really great mentors, good mentors. We have some wonderful ones, but it's just that we need more. And that's really why I'm here, to see if I can possibly get your help in finding more good mentors or just getting the word out about our program. The goals for our children are basically help them develop just meaningful relationships with a supportive adult. It's just a positive, caring person who comes into his life. It's not a replacement for a parent. It's really a buddy, a friend. It's like big brothers or big sisters. So develop that relationship. Introduce them to new experiences. Cultural, social, recreational things that maybe they might normally have had a chance to do. I love seeing some of what I call firsts with these kids that you'll see like the first time they ever went bowling, or the first time, they ever roasted hot dogs over a bonfire or something. It's really wonderful to see. But our goals, one other goal, of course, is have them avoid the juvenile justice system. I mean, these are our goals that are, part of our grant. All the research shows that it's very powerful how just being in a mentoring relationship, how it can affect you, how it can especially affect your attitude in school. Just really, the major findings were attitude towards school, improved attendance, lower dropout rates, less involvement with drugs and gangs. The main requirements for mentors are they have to be 21, spend 1 to 2 hours a week. I mean, it can be more, of course, but you need a good 1 or 2 hours just to get a relationship going. Make a 1-year commitment. You need to have your own car. You need to go through an extensive background check and also go through mentor training. The rewards are absolutely immeasurable. I was talking to one of my mentors recently, and he said, it's not only incredible to see a child blossom over the course of a year before your very eyes, but also and I think this came from his wife, the change in him. He said, I am a more present father. I am just a more communicative husband. And I thought, wow, that's quite a testimonial. In terms of what we provide the mentors, well, I mentioned we do training with them. We help them come up with great ideas for, low-cost, fun, interesting things to do. And we really try to help them develop strong bonds with their kids. I'm a school psychologist, and also I should say, we're with them all the way. It's not like we bring our mentors, we match them up, and we disappear. I have regular contact with the families, with the mentors, and just every step of the way, we kind of go through this all together. And I just want to mention that my training is I am a school psychologist. I've worked on the North Shore in the school district for the last 30 years. So I really have a lot of experience working with kids and their families. And this is just a marvelous program. So I just wanted to let you know about it and really ask your help, because I think this can make such a difference in Waukegan. Just the fact that we're right here. The thing is, we need 30 matches by the end of the year. We have 20. So we're looking for mentors. So if there's anyone in this room if this speaks to anybody there who thinks they would want to do something, take on a commitment such as this, or if you have friends, exceptional friends like yourselves, that you think that would be that I could see my buddy doing this, or just any way that you can promote this program, I would be very grateful for. I've got brochures. I don't know how you communicate with your constituents, but just to get the word out.
Just leave them with Alderman Rivera.
Oh, great.
Okay.
So if you are interested and you want to give me a call, and it can be very informal, just talk about it, or, hey, I'll sign you up. But really, it can be just to find out more information. Please give me a call at Catholic Charities. My name is Beth Sheehan Lucas, and my phone number is 847-782-4224.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Chief Farrell, would you please step to the mic and introduce your guests?
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. We have representatives from Fansteel here to give a presentation. Just a brief history. couple weeks ago, Fansteel, they reached out to the Waukegan Fire Department. Jim Breckenridge, he's one of the new owners that took over back in 2013. And they wanted to come by the fire department to introduce themselves and tell what Fansteel is all about. And we partnered and networked that day, and they came by and we gave them a tour, and they learned what the fire department does, and we learned what they do. And from that developed tonight here, they wanted to give a special presentation. And first of all, I want to say thank you for your presence, and thank you for what you do for the community and the city of Waukegan. So with that being said, we'll bring Cindy here.
Hi, my name is Cindy Kirker. I'm the president of Fansteel. We're a rather small company, but we have 85 employees, and we've been within the city for 60 years. And at the site, we manufacture drug products, including cancer drugs, as well as excipients for some of the largest biopharmaceuticals in the world. And as part of that, we have a lot of operations over there that use chemical products, and so it's very important for us to have the kind of services that the city provides, and we're very grateful for those services. As part of that appreciation, we'd like to present a check tonight to the fire department for $5,000 to help support their programs and buy equipment for the paramedics to not only support Fansteel, but to support all the constituents within the city of Waukegan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Audience time, Jane Ferry, 531 Leith Avenue.
Mr. Mayor and Alderman. I'm passing out a handout that we hand out at the Genesee Theater every show night as part of Main Street. And what we did was we worked with the businesses to have specials that people could bring their tickets in from Genesee Theater within 2 weeks of the show and get some deals. So you're seeing the deals on one side, and the other side shows some of the things that are going on in downtown. And there are a lot of activities going on downtown, especially in the theaters. A play called Cold is an adult comedy at Three Brothers Theater, November 20th through the 23rd. They are added that just recently with another theater company. Captain Superlative is a family-friendly show about choosing to be a good person. It's going to be at Clockwise Theater starting this week as well on the 21st and runs through December 14th. It has matinees, so please feel free to bring the children. They suggest ages 9 and up. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is going to be at Three Brothers Theater. It is kind of a live version of a kitschy, funky, different kind of movie. It is going to be running from November 28th through December 13th. And the Genesee Theater has added a variety of shows as well, especially around the holidays. So please go out and visit their website, which is geneseetheater.com. And finally, 2 other things are going on downtown. One of them is Small Business Saturday. That is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, which is November 29th. It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning with a nice kickoff breakfast at Greentown Tavern and goes up and down the Main Street District, lasts until about 8 o'clock at night. There are a number of different deals, and even if there aren't deals, please consider shopping local. Every dollar that you spend, 68 cents of it stays in the community when you shop at a local business. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is Holiday Walk is coming up as well. That is also a family-friendly event. It is Saturday, December 6th. A lot of fun activities, many of them free. Otherwise, they are low cost. That will also kick off with a kids' breakfast at Greentown Tavern starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. There will be music and crafts up and down the street. So please come and support these events. If you have any other questions or you're looking for something to do, please visit our website, which is waukeganmainstreet.org, and you can put /events for our calendar. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Preston Kendall, 501 South Martin Luther King.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members. I'm the president of Cristo Rey St. Martin College Prep. Hopefully, many of you will remember me. I came in about a year and a half ago and got to present about our school, and our students had the great privilege of working at City Hall last year, and we're very, very grateful for that. Tonight, I'm just here less to talk about the school and more to just talk about our current situation regarding parking and the area around our school. We're growing. We're bursting at the seams. In 2011, we were 240 students. We have 360 students this year. We'll be over 400 next year. And we're freezing at 400 simply because the facility can't hold any more than that, and we're busy looking for a new campus, and we're working very hard to find a campus here in Waukegan. We have a couple that we're looking at, but even as we're pursuing those, we're really still 2 to 3 years away from moving from where we are. And we are on the block. It's the old St. Joseph Parish, if you're familiar with that, and it's the square block of Martin Luther King to the west, Oak to the east, McKinley to the north, and Ravine to the south. And there's no parking signs kind of popping up all over, and we're exclusively for low-income students, and we don't have a lot of students that drive. I mean, if we have a dozen students drive to school, I'd be surprised. Many of them walk because they live in the area, public transportation, and the majority of them get dropped off in the morning. But what we're having a problem with is just parking. The street parking's disappearing. There's a lot of no parking signs popping up all over the place, and we're becoming kind of an island with no recourse, and it's tough to have even visitors come to us, and we're having a lot of trouble in our parking lot only because we're trying to keep our parking lot open so that the kids that get dropped off and picked up, they can circle through there without having to be in the street, and so by doing that, we just don't have enough parking, and the no parking, the preponderance of the no parking things that are popping up, and I know some other ones are being proposed, is just kind of a hardship for us, and I just like people to understand that and take that for what it's worth and understand that we're trying to do something really good in the community, and we're struggling right now because of our growth. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Minutes, motion to approve the regular minutes of the November 3rd, 2014 City Council meeting and the special council meeting minutes of November 12th, 2014. Motion by Alderman Rivera, second by Alderman May. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. There are no resolutions, proclamations, presentations, or appointments. Committee reports, Public Works.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Alderman Moiseo, please.
Yes, item A. Motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to execute a change order in the amount of $30,000 payable to Northern Divers USA, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Aye. Alderman Velco. Aye. Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedley. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Item B, motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to execute a change order in the amount of $61,758.17 payable to Campanella and Sons of Wadsworth, Illinois, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Aye. Alderman Velco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham. Aye. Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedley.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
That is it, Your Honor.
Thank you, Alderman Moiseo. Insurance Committee, Alderman Cunningham.
The insurance committee met and authorized proper city officials to enter into an agreement with Alternative Services Concept, ASC, third-party administrative TPA services relative to workers' compensation, property and casualty claims program effective February 1, 2015 through January 30th, 2016, with the option to renew for 3 additional one-year periods subject to performance.
under the terms set forth in ASC. Proposal date September 2019 to 2014, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Cunningham, second by Alderman Beedling. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Aye. Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
That's it, Alderman.
Yes, sir.
Is it?
Yeah.
Finance Committee, Alderman Valco.
Thank you, Your Honor. Finance Committee met this evening, and items A, B, and C are on the agenda, and it shows the commitment of the city that we want to move forward on the lakefront. And the finance, under item A, Finance Committee authorized the proper city officials to enter into a grant agreement by and between the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the city of Waukegan titled Waukegan River Riparian Zone Enhancements for a project period of May 1, 2014 to December 31st, 2015, for a total budget of $350,000, including the city's local sharing match of $175,000. And funding for this project will be made available from 307-130-724-489, and I so move, sir.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsome. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Item B, Finance Committee authorized the proper city officials to enter into a grant agreement by and between the State of Illinois Department of Natural Resources and the City of Waukegan titled U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, Waukegan Lakefront Active Implementation Plan, with a termination date of December 31st, 2015, a total budget of $60,000, including the city's local sharing match of $25,000. And funding for this project will be made available from 307-130-724-489, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsome. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
No.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Item C, committee authorized the proper city officials to enter into a grant agreement by and between the Illinois Coastal Grants Program and the City of Waukegan titled National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, U.S. Department of Commerce, Waukegan Harbor AOC, Sustainable Shoreline Plan, with an award date of October 15, 2014, and a termination date of March 31st, 2016, a total budget of $200,000, including the city's local share match of $50,000. Funding for this project will be made available from 307-130-724-489, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsome. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
No.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Item D, to help pay for this, the committee approved a permanent withdrawal of $110,000 from the Stabilization Fund 714 and transfer to the Fixed Asset Fund 307 as allowed per Resolution 12-R-67 Stabilization Fund Policy, Section Roman numeral 4.B.11 Roman numerals, and further appropriating said funds by approving an ordinance authorizing an appropriation transfer for fiscal year May 1st, 2014 to April 30th, 2015, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsome. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
No.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye. Aye.
Item E, committee authorized the Information Technology Director to solicit bids for the data center battery backup system. And I so move.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsom. All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Item F,
Passes.
committee authorized the proper city officials to enter into a service contract agreement with Inter-Pacific to purchase and install a security camera system at the city's 225 North County parking garage for an amount not to exceed $26,454, and funding is available from 595-459-524412, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsom. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Final item G, the committee authorized the chief of police to solicit bids for the shooting range repairs, and I so move, sir.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsom. All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
I
Under
got a
old-
question.
Go ahead, Alderman Rivera.
You know, the 25, you're talking how much, 25,000?
Between 20 and 25,000, yes, sir.
Yeah. Have we ever checked on our local gun ranges so that we can, you know, maybe come into an agreement with some of these, you know, because what's the future of this part of the building over here and where the range is at? We're like throwing money into it's,
I understand that, Alderman. We are looking into a cost. I personally don't think it's cost-effective to repair that range. The range is basically in ill repair. I shot there when I was a young patrolman. It's gotten no better. We are looking for a possible agreement with our local pistol range.
Right.
But we are looking into that. But that being said, we're still going to go look at solicit bids for this project to see what we can do. But in the interim, we will be exploring that avenue.
and does this, can we get any money out of the forfeiture fund? Does this qualify to get paid out of the forfeiture fund?
I
Has
don't know,
anybody looked
I don't know
into
if that's possible. We can look into that. I will look into it, but rest assured, I'm aware of the problem, and I'm going to try to do what I can to resolve this issue to the best interest of the city.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you. Old business item A, motion by Alderman Rivera, seconded by Alderman Conken to approve amendment to the City of Waukegan Workplace Firearm Policy held over by Alderman Conken. Alderman Conken, are you satisfied with your investigation?
I hadn't gotten, as I talked to Corporation Counsel Martin, he said he hadn't found anything yet. I just wondered if he'd researched any further.
After we had our conversation, Thank you, Mayor. After we had our conversation, I'd searched the opinion, the final question that you had, there's no data that would support that position that we discussed, and as far as I'm concerned, my answer stands as we discussed it before, Alderman.
Okay, then I'm fine, Your Honor.
Okay. So the motion is a motion by Alderman Rivera, seconded by Alderman Conken to approve amendments to the City of Waukegan Workplace Firearm Policy. What this is, we have 2 retired police officers that work at the police station. I took away their weapons, but now, as a result, I've come to the realization that they transport evidence, and they're in the cars constantly, and it was my personal opinion that those 2 men are well aware of the state statutes, the state laws, the use of force policy, the use of force continuum, and therefore they are qualified, and I think they deserve the opportunity to be armed when they're in performing police services. So a roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
I thought the issue was yourself and the 8th Ward Alderman being retired police officers. You guys are able to carry your concealed firearm in the building, correct?
That's correct.
Under this policy?
That is true. We're adding 2 more people to this policy.
Yet none of the aldermen are allowed to do that.
I will not allow the alderman to carry weapons. You are not forced in, you are not trained in the use of force continuum. And I can tell you, the two officers, the two retired officers that I'm going to allow to carry weapons are very well versed in the use of force continuum and the use of force policy. They're very well adjusted after they retired. I trust them explicitly, and they deserve the right to carry a weapon when performing duties as needed in the Waukegan Police Department.
Your Honor?
Yes.
You and Mr. Velko would be covered under federal law, not this policy, correct, Counselor?
We're
Federal law allows, you may want to explain that. The federal law would trump this policy.
The way we wrote the policy is that a police officer that is retired and qualifies to carry a weapon pursuant to the federal law, not the state law or the public policy, and is an elected official, is allowed to carry on the premises of the city of Waukegan property. There are only two people that qualify with both credentials, and that would be Alderman Valco and the Mayor Motley. The two gentlemen in question that we're adding and modifying are not pursuant to anything that's allowable pursuant to state law, but they are allowed to carry pursuant to the federal law, and they're allowed to carry with the provision that they're given approval by either the mayor or the chief of police, only if they're performing tasks and only if they're employed in the capacity of working for the police department.
Any other questions?
I want to carry.
If not, roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Alderman Velco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Item B, motion by Alderman Conken, second by Alderman Beedling to draft an ordinance to reflect prohibited parking on the west side of Oak Street from Ravine Avenue to McKinley Avenue, held over by Alderman Cunningham. This is a concern that was voiced by Preston Kendall. Any questions on this?
I have a question.
Yes.
I want to know why signs are going up, but we haven't approved the ordinance yet.
Kendall, are there signs up?
There are signs on Oak Street already posted.
Okay. Okay, that's not correct. So roll call.
Well, they're not enforced,
Can we,
though.
who's, maybe the alderman of the ward can explain who made the request?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen many times over the last 16 years where we put those signs up, but they cannot be enforced. So as far as why we are doing it, I think everyone knows why we're doing it. We have problems in our school areas with parking. That's just bottom line. I don't think that needs an explanation from any alderman up here. Alderman Moiseo's experienced it more so than anybody. Now Alderman Conken at Lime Magnet, myself, throughout the city of Waukegan. And unfortunately for Mr. Preston and his school, our Waukegan Public School District it's been an issue. I know I have personally tried to avoid doing this over the last 3 years, and spoke with Mr. Preston on several occasions. He and we're in agreement, and I think we're both kind of beating our heads of what can we do. But I know what I have been received complaints of is this. So I am willing to continue to work with Mr. Preston and his staff to make sure that we do not disrupt their school or anything like that, but I'm getting phone calls, as the rest of aldermen who have schools in their ward. This is a problem in our city. And Mr. Preston, I believe me, your school is not the only one who's having this problem. I think you look at Thomas Jefferson, you look at Carmen School before, you look at both of the high schools. I was at Webster just today. That is ridiculous over there at Webster from 2:30 to something. There is a problem when it comes to our schools and how we deal with families dropping off and picking up their students. So I don't want to single Mr. Preston out and his school. It is an issue within our city that I don't think has ever been addressed. Why hasn't it been addressed? Because you have more young men and young ladies who are driving as soon as they get that 16 or 17 license in families, just because mom and dads are busy. That's the problem. How do we fix it? I can't tell you how to fix it. I only can give you from a legislative standpoint, how I can somewhat resolve it from the residents who live there. Those are the impact persons. Now, what I am willing to do, listening to Mr. Preston and some of his concerns, is maybe hold off on moving tonight on this, so he and I can have a better conversation on how we can maybe do some things on Oak Street. But MLK right now that's where the complaints is coming at. So, this is nothing new to us, nothing new at all.
Alderman
Thank you.
Conken.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'd just like to comment exactly like Alderman Cunningham said, we've had problems with a lot of schools. The school district has gotten to neighborhood schooling, get more kids in their neighborhood to stay at their own schools. And as I've said earlier, this is a problem, it's been nice outside and the kids have been walking to school. This problem's only going to get worse now that the weather's gotten colder. There's going to be more and more parents and more older brothers and sisters driving their kids to all their schools, so the traffic is going to get worse. And it is up to us, I believe, from a safety standpoint, to try and alleviate some of these issues. As a matter of fact, this morning I saw parents dropping their kids off in the middle of Lewis Avenue, crossing the street to go to Jefferson. I saw it this morning. And even the school district set up a crosswalk in the middle of Lewis Avenue. There's no crosswalk in the middle of Lewis Avenue. They got a guy stepping out in front of traffic, stopping traffic, so that kids can cross the street or try to get them across safely. I understand the reason for it and why they're doing it, but there's no crosswalk in the middle of the block. They should go to the corners, cross the street, and walk to school. So, thank you.
Can I make
That's
a
enough.
quick comment?
Alderman May.
I don't understand the situation fully. Obviously, it's not my area, you know what I'm saying? I don't know both sides, but I did have great success with my neighborhood officer and someone from our traffic department who came out and devised a new plan, and we changed the sides of the street and such around Little Fort last year. It's probably one of the best things that ever happened. We struggle at the schools in my district as well, but I did, when I enlisted my neighborhood ward officer, and it was when Sergeant Karlstrom was still downstairs, they came up with a whole new plan for me. So I just, we didn't take away the parking, but we switched it from one side of the street to the other to make it more. So I don't understand the situation completely, Alderman Cunningham. So I thank you for.
Yeah, and just so everyone understands, if you take at McKinley and Oak to Ravine and Oak, that is a very narrow street. If you get cars parked on either side, it is difficult to pass. What my concern will be, now that it has been brought out, we have 3 residents on the east side on Oak and Ravine and McKinley and Ravine. God forbid there's ever an emergency at one of those homes. Fire truck can't get through. Now I'm putting my insurance hat on right now. Now that we are aware of the situation, we can be held liable for the situation. So we have to think of those things as well. But Mr. Preston and I have already spoken. We're in agreement with a couple things. I'm pretty sure that we can find, working with the parents, with the community there, we'll find some type of resolution. So the best way to get our parents sometimes engaged in this situation is to open their eyes up and help them come in and be a part of the resolution versus just saying it's the school problem or the city problem. And I think I was very miffed at one time when I heard one of the administrators from Lincoln Center tell me, well, that's a city problem, now it's on the street. Well, you want to make it a city problem, we can show you how we can fix a city problem. And Mr. Preston, again, that's not warranted to you, or that's not toward you. It is just an overall situation within our city, and I must say it's probably other cities too. So let's hold off on this right now, moving forward with the ordinance.
Okay,
so he and I get together, then we come back with a final resolution.
Alderman, what I'd like to do is I'd like to place item A, B, and C with the Public Safety Committee. Well, Alderman Cox.
No, B and C, Your Honor.
BC.
Oh, I'm sorry, B and
Hold on a
C.
second. Hold on a second.
I'd like to put them in Alderman Conken's committee for review, and we can, at that point, we can discuss how we want to approach this.
Well, I think what we can do is do B, which is Oak, but as far as C, we can move forward with C, because the problem is not on C. The problem is on Oak Street.
Okay.
What about the signs? What about the signs that are currently up?
The signs should be.
We cannot enforce the signs, folks. You can write tickets all
Let
day.
me tell you
can't
what,
enforce.
they will enforce the signs.
Mayor, I've seen this happen, even when you were there, when I was a young alderman. You can't enforce something that we have not passed.
Well, unfortunately, the police officers aren't aware of that.
Well, that's
I can
where
make
we
them aware
come
of
in
that,
at.
but I can guarantee it, they will be issued citations.
Yeah, but when you were the supervisor over there, when I would bring it to your attention, you would waive it because it was an ordinance.
Okay,
Not an ordinance, you can't enforce it.
Yeah, it's,
okay, we'll work with,
All right, we'll work with
the
it.
signs.
It's thrown out.
Okay, I'm gonna hold this and put that back to public safety.
Okay.
Alderman Conken, that'll be your responsibility.
Yes, sir.
We got it.
Item C.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Item C, motion by Alderman Conken, second by Alderman Beedling, to draft an ordinance to reflect resident parking permits on the west side of Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue from the address commonly known as 524 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue to the address commonly known as 514 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue, held over by Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Cunningham, do you wish to proceed with this?
Oh, item number C, we will.
Okay. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Aye. Alderman Velco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
I'm going to vote aye, but I do want to put this comment for the record, because there was a comment made that Alderman Cunningham was maybe anti or against the students and the staff at St. Martin de Porres. I am not, have not been, will never be. This is just a reaction of folks who live in the area wanted some movement. So, but I am by no means hold any grudges toward any students. Heck, I don't even see half of the students. So I want that to please in the record, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Next item, item A, City of Waukegan officials estimate the irrigate levy to be $22 million for 2014 tax year per 35 ILCS 200-18-60. I'd like to just put this on file. It's a matter of announcing the levy aggregate.
Does this need a?
Motion by Alderman Tempest, second by Alderman Moiseo to accept and place on file. All's in favor?
I'd like to comment if I may first, Your Honor.
Sir?
Does this need our approval, the 22 million tax?
No. It's just, when the levy
estimate.
comes forward, we'll vote on the levy. But this is what
Why would
the
it-
aggregate says.
Why would it need our approval if we?
Tina, would you step up, please, to the mic?
What is this?
The state statute has a provision called the Truth in Taxation section, and an estimate is supposed to be reported to your governing board, and that is what determines whether or not a truth or taxation hearing would be required. So this is just to formalize in the record that the estimate was provided to the city council. A memorandum was provided both by email and in hard copy on November 5th that provided our estimate. Based on our estimate, there would not be a 5% increase in the aggregate levy, so a truth and taxation hearing would not be required. However, the mayor has opted to schedule one anyway. The truth and taxation hearing will be before the next city council meeting, and that's when the ordinance, which requires your approval, approving the levy, would be considered for a vote.
If I may ask this, what was was it 22 million last year or less?
Correct. So we're estimating that our levy would stay flat
So
when
you're staying-
combined with
You're
debt.
keeping the levy flat? Do you really think keeping the levy flat is really truth in taxation? That where are we going to get the extra money that we're going to need, or we're going to go to a budget that is going to be not in the red rather than equal?
I am going to recommend no tax levy increase for next year. That will leave us a deficit of $1.2 million.
That's the point I'm getting to.
And we're trying to, Tina and I have been working on ways to get that money into our budget. We're going to cut substantially in different departments, but I am not prepared to raise the tax levy next year.
1.7
a deficit of 1.7 million,
1.2 million.
1.2 million. But then the following year, how are we going to make that up? This is what concerns me. This is the same levy we had last year, am I correct?
It will be the same overall dollar amount, but we're moving some of the pieces around a little bit. So in the memo, it explains each section. The bond levy, actually, the bond portion of the levy is going up 0.4%. And then the rest, when I explained it in the memorandum, the aggregate levy is made up of everything else: police pension, fire pension, garbage collection, IMRF, the library's portion of the levy. And then we also would be having a fire protection component because we have a police protection component because we have a 1-year retention requirement on the COPS grant. So it's all detailed in the November 5th memorandum. And at the Truth and Taxation hearing, that would be before the city council meeting. That's when the ordinance is presented. Because we've had a Truth and Taxation hearing at that point, any amendments made to the ordinance would not trigger another Truth and Taxation hearing.
So, again, what percent raise is this compared to last year?
This would be 0 for the total dollar of the
That's the
levy.
point I'm trying to make. We have increased costs in the city. And we're going to keep the levy the same. I would think that you need at least a 2% or 1.7% increase in the budget. Otherwise, you're that much behind, and then next year, don't tell me you're going to be able to keep it level the same the following year. It won't work out there. Or you're a math genius that I don't realize I got in front of me.
No.
So we're going to put it off this year, and next year, what's it going to be? The following year.
Alderman,
Well, no, I asked you
I
a question.
understand, sir. What I'd like to say to you is this. I am not prepared. We assessed our citizens 10%. Last year, I asked you to approve a 4% tax levy. This year, I'm asking you not to raise the levy at all. That will be at your discretion when we have the hearing. I have to tell you, we're being hurt substantially by the fact that the firefighters, the grant, the SAFER grant for the fire department is impacting us tremendously this fiscal year. Next year, we're going to have the COPS grant come due. So we're going to be hit very hard the next 2 years with police and fire assessments.
Your Honor, when they offer these grants, and hire 5 more firemen, 7 more firemen, and you hire them, you increase your workforce, you increase your retirement benefits, you increase your everything, and in the long run, your retirement benefits everything goes up. You're not saving. And then when they go off the grant, it's a big hit. But I can't see how we can keep it the same. I think you just get a little further behind and head the city a little more deficit if you don't try to cut the budget when you have to and tax what you have to, be it 1.2% up to 2%. That's inflation rate. I just don't know how we can keep not covering our expenses and putting it off.
Well, sir, I understand that, and the option will be at the discretion of the city council when I propose a no levy increase. It'll be at your discretion to either agree with my position or vote to increase the tax levy.
And this year, no tax levy increase?
That's what I'm proposing,
But
sir.
look out next year.
Maybe not, sir. We have a lot of good things in the works that may offset some of the future costs.
I worry about our bonded indebtedness, our debt service. Our bond rating has gone down. Why?
Our bond rating actually is stable.
No, it's gone down. Our bond rating.
It's gone down, but it's stable
gone
this
down.
year. It's stable this year.
Well, it may be stable this year, but it's gone down. And why? We have to get a budget balanced and live within that budget. And I can't see not increasing, if our tax rates here, not increasing it 1.2% up to 2%, 1.7%. What's inflation rate? 1.7?
It's under 2%.
What?
It's under 2%.
So under 1.7, is that? I'm pretty close.
Allegedly.
So why wouldn't you try to stay within that range and not get further behind on what the city's debt is? That's what my concern is, Mayor. I'm going to vote no because I think you should increase it.
Alderman Tempest,
1.2,
tonight is,
1.3%.
tonight is just to accept this and place it on file. We're not voting on the tax levy tonight. We're just making this a matter of public record. That's all this is.
Well, maybe public record, but it's not the right public record.
Okay. Any further questions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye. Nay.
It'll be placed on file. Please record Alderman Tempest as a nay. Thank
And
you.
Alderman Cunningham.
And Alderman Cunningham. New business, item A, approval of payroll dated November 14th, 2014, in the amount of $1,376,423.04. Bonus payroll in the amount of $42,853.19, and final payout in the amount of $28,560.10. Motion by Alderman Valco, seconded by Alderman Newsom. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Item B, approval of bills dated today of $1,862,852.81. Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsom. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Item C, approve raffle sales application for suburbanites. Motion by Alderman Rivera, second by Alderman May. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item D, approval of raffle sales application for Greenwood School. Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Rivera. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Presentation by the City Treasurer, John Schwab.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. On Monday, November the 10th, the Treasurer's portion of the audit was printed in the New Sun. I want to thank David Mottling for his posting of the audit on the city's website. For those who don't have the internet, the audit is available at City Hall, in the Treasurer's office on the second floor, or on the Clerk's office on the first floor, and a hard copy can be provided. So reported Treasurer Schwab.
Thank you, Mr. Schwab, Dr. Schwab. Ordinance and resolutions, item A, ordinance amending Chapter 21, Section 21134.1AF by adding the following streets: Chapel, both sides between Washington Street and Clayton Street; Philippa Avenue, west side between Washington Street and Clayton Street; Victory Street, west side between Washington Street and Clayton Street; and modifying paragraph F relative to fines provided. Motion by Alderman Beedling, second by Alderman Cunningham. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Question, sir.
Go ahead, Alderman Valco.
What is this? Is it a no parking? Is it resident parking? It doesn't say what this is.
It's permit parking.
Permanent no parking?
Permit.
Okay.
Resident parking,
Because it doesn't say that. It's for permit parking.
that's what it
Signs
is.
are
Okay.
already up.
Huh?
Signs are posted.
The signs are up, they've been up for years.
A roll call,
Been up
please,
before
Madam
my
Clerk.
tenure.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Item B, ordinance amending Section 21134.1 titled Resident Permit Parking, Lewis Place, both sides between Lewis Avenue and Indiana Street both sides between Grand Avenue and the dead end of North Avenue. What?
To north.
To north, I'm sorry. What happened here is we have a new facility. It's the PADS administrative offices at 1800 Grand Avenue. There's been an issue with the residents or the patrons of the PADS parking on the street and taking resident parking. We went over there and did a survey of the residents. The residents wanted permit parking on these streets. Therefore, Corporation Council drafted this ordinance, and that is what this is for. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman May. Alderman Velco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Item C, resolution approving an inducement resolution with Harlem Irving Companies Incorporated relative to a certain property at Fountain Square. Motion by Alderman Rivera, second by Alderman Conken. Any questions? Yes,
Can we
Alderman.
have an explanation for this, please?
An explanation?
Yeah.
What we're doing is Harlem Irving is going to put in 10 stores at Fountain Square. Project is $22 million, and this is an inducement resolution that should a TIF district be established there, they will get a portion of the proceeds from the taxes there. That's what this is, and I think it's not to exceed $6.5 million.
That's my next question.
Did that go through committee?
Yeah, okay.
I have a question.
Alderman Beedling?
I seem to remember this from a while back. We just closed the TIF district out. Maybe we should have left it open?
What we did is we closed the TIF district to allow our Tom Haggerty to take some of the increment out of there and replace all the roads around that ring.
We could have done that anyway.
We're gonna issue another TIF district to replace the old one. It gives them 23 years of increment as opposed, Noel, did they have 8 years left on that TIF? So rather than having 8 years to draw their increment, we're gonna give them 23 years to draw their increment.
Have we talked about this?
Mayor, why hasn't this come through Judiciary Committee? I talked about this with you last week. Was it a matter of time issue?
No,
or-
well, somewhat, but Russ, do you want to come up here and explain this? We've been working on this project now for well over a year.
Absolutely.
This is not, Alderman, is of course neither the recommendation to create the TIF yet, nor the redevelopment agreement. It's just the inducement resolution, just as we passed for Bridge recently, that allows them to recoup the TIF-eligible soft costs that they're expending in creating the TIF right now.
Who are these?
Okay, well, my question was, why didn't it go through the process, through Judiciary Committee? So the rest of the aldermen can discuss it.
This has gone through WEDAB, this has gone through
I know.
we've been on this project for over a year, well over a year.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I support the project, don't get me wrong, but,
Alderman Rivera's been part of this project from the beginning.
yeah, I support this project, but we should have gone through Judiciary Committee instead of seeing it on here.
Alderman,
in the
there's
agenda.
no liability on the city's part. This is a pay-as-you-go. If it gets to be a TIF, it's a
I'm not questioning all
pay-as-you-go,
that.
just like Bridge. The same thing. The city will assume no liability.
Right, I'm not questioning that. Mayor.
Okay.
I'm just questioning why it didn't go
Through the process.
through the committee. That's all.
I vote to hold it over.
Judiciary.
Russ, who are these? Who is it, relative?
It's Harlem Irving.
Okay, who is that? I don't know who that is. I'm sorry, Mayor.
Russ, explain the other project.
Harlem Irving is a large
briefly.
Chicago-based developer that's been negotiating for the development of the site and under contract now for over a year. It is a bit of a timing issue. It's not critical if it doesn't pass. The timing issue, though, is their contract, twofold, actually. Their contract with Shaw to purchase the property.
Shaw.
Shaw Development.
Owns
I know
the
who Shaw
10-acre
is.
site that they're buying. And also they have letters of intent and even some pre-leases now. And they have some contractual deadlines where they need to meet certain benchmarks to show that they're moving through the approval process. So while we may have typically taken it to judiciary and should have, it's something we have been talking about for a long time.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
it's not the redevelopment agreement, it's not the creation of the TIF. It's merely the resolution that, as the mayor said, should the TIF be approved and should you approve the redevelopment agreement, they can recoup the costs that they're expending right now, the attorney fees, the financial advisor, that at their expense is creating this TIF.
Your Honor?
And where are these
Russ,
stores going?
Yes.
Could we wait on this until judiciary so that, and have a little presentation at judiciary, bring it to the next council and vote on it, just so the council has a little more information on it? I'm pretty sure most of us, once we got some information, will be fine with it, but we just like a little more information on.
And that's totally understandable. When we
Will that
move into
mess up the timing?
I'm sorry?
Would that mess up the timing?
It does a little bit. When we move on to the meat of the deal, the actual, the creation of the TIF, the redevelopment agreement, they'll be here, you'll get full presentations. Prior to that, to enable the site, the zoning issues relative to the site in the overlay district will need to come through Planning and Zoning Commission, will go through Judiciary Committee, and come to the full council in January. So you'll get a presentation then of everything they're doing, so that will come in January.
Could we vote on this tonight or pass it, what is it? Vote on it and pass it tonight?
Where's the
And next
resolution?
judiciary meeting, have a presentation or just an overview of what this is? Would that be hard, Mayor, to put that together?
Well, I would like to, I personally, knowing, I've been involved in this since day one with Noel, Kisher, Lepper, and Russ, and John Antaramian. Steve has drafted the resolution. Tina Smigelski has been through this whole financing thing with a fine-tooth comb. We were going to hold this off. We were going to hold this off last Friday, but timing became an issue with this. And when
Mayor, you're doing a bad job.
Corporation Council drafted this ordinance, we had specific language that would keep us out of harm's way.
Okay.
But if you want to explain this, Steve.
I
don't think an explanation is necessary.
As Alderman Rivera said, ultimately, I myself will probably vote for it. But I don't want to hold it up by holding it over and not taking care of it tonight. I will trust that if I vote for this tonight, at the next judiciary meeting, I will have some information about this. That's all I'm asking.
Yes.
And then I myself will vote for it tonight. I don't know about anybody else, but that's what I would do.
If I can, Alderman, may I can answer a couple of questions?
Okay.
This is just an enabling ordinance, and the only purpose of this ordinance is the following. We have not set up the TIF, we've not entered into the agreement, we haven't entered into any expenditure agreement, we haven't even just designated what we're going to do or we're not going to do as far as the obligation of the city of Waukegan. This gives no responsibility to the city of Waukegan for any expenditure of one dime whatsoever. It doesn't allow them to go back and do their work. All it does is allow them to establish that any money they spend between now and the TIF, because that's the essence of moving forward, is so that anything that they can recover as an expense is after the TIF is set up. Because if we don't do the enabling ordinance, the money they spend between now ahead of the TIF is not reimbursable to them as an expense. So that's all we're doing. And we've specific language in here, specific language I put in, if you'll notice, says, under no circumstances shall the city be obligated to pay any monies as a general obligation. It also states in here that they've agreed to reimburse us our legal fees for this formation. Even if we don't have any monies, or even if the TIF doesn't result in a TIF, then we still get our attorney's fees paid out of an escrow they're going to establish. It also says that any work we do, it has no liability for such expense on the part of the city for and in consideration of the city's efforts in working with the developer on the determination of the eligibility of the plan. So we're not agreeing to do anything. We're not agreeing to the plan. We're not agreeing to how it's going to work. Everything, when you're speaking of judiciary, this is just to get them started so they can verify and reimburse their expenses if this council determines that we have a viable plan that comes through all the committees, through judiciary, and that you're satisfied with the eventual final plan with Harlem Irving. If you're not, no loss, no expenditures, and we move on. There's nothing in front of you tonight that we would attempt to put in front of you that would obligate you to any expenditures without coming through a committee.
Alderman Moiseo, this is the exact agreement we had with Bridge Development.
Okay.
Exactly. We patterned this after that one. So, you know.
Mayor, it's not that we don't trust, or I don't trust, I just want to verify. No.
Yeah.
That's all.
There's no
But
liability.
I don't
to the
trust,
city.
I just want to verify and make sure that, I can answer questions. Again, you brought it up earlier, that we can answer questions when people ask
Okay,
us. That's
thank you.
all.
Alderman
That's all.
Beedling?
I understand there was several years left on the TIF we closed out?
There were 8 years left on the TIF we
Why
closed
wouldn't we
down.
just leave that TIF open? I'm curious.
Because they couldn't draw down on the increment in 8 years. There would not be enough increment gained over 8 years. The 23-year TIF gives them the time to draw back the money they need to get out of there.
Guys,
I
I
mean,
paid my house in 15.
After we paid the fire protection district, how much money was left after we paid everybody off and had the roads repaved?
I don't think we have that. Tina and I discussed this the other day. Tina, do we know that amounts to about 800,000 to $1 million, somewhere in that range, is it? When we closed out the other one? When we closed out the,
The TIF doesn't officially close until December 31st. At that point, we do the final accounting for any funding that's left, and we remit that to the county. The county then takes, a few months to calculate what each overlapping district share is. So we don't know what that amount would be at this point. So we're waiting till Mr. Haggerty finishes all of his infrastructure improvements out there before we'll know the final balance. But I can certainly report that to the Finance Committee at the end of the calendar year.
Your Honor, real quick.
yes.
Tina, real quick, I got a question, I don't know if you can answer it, or maybe Noel. But it's been our history, not been our history, but we have, a lot of times, we've closed TIFs early, have we not?
Yes.
We've closed, this is the 5th TIF that we've closed in 5 years.
So people get hung up on the 23 years, and I can understand, that's a long time. But it's been our history to close them early, correct?
Correct.
Almost.
The one oldest TIF ran its full course. But I guess that was TIF 1. But the other ones, once the projects are complete, if you're simply incurring increment and you don't have specific projects, or your projects won't work because of the timing of the TIF, essentially you're tying up EAV for the other overlapping districts, and especially those under tax cap.
Right.
Really need the EAV to be released back to them.
So we've had a history, again, I want to make that point, we've had a history of closing out TIFs earlier than 23 years.
Correct.
When
And
we've
that's
gotten
not-
it done.
it's not
It's
an
really just been
uncommon
a catalyst,
practice.
the TIF has really just been a catalyst to get the development off the ground and get it moving.
Correct.
And then we've
Yes.
closed it.
That's
Yes.
correct.
I want people to understand that. So
And that's why-
and I understand the hang-up on 23 years. I mean, my
And
God.
Alderman, when we closed the Fountain Square TIF, it gave us an opportunity to spend, was it $1.2 million for the roads? About 1.2, 1.3.
Yeah, right
So
there.
that gave us an opportunity to repave all the roads at Fountain Square by closing that TIF out. So it was certainly a benefit to the city of Waukegan.
Yes.
Any further questions?
Yes.
Alderman Tempest?
We have an ordinance in front of us tonight. First time we've seen it. No presentation from, I never got it.
It's not an ordinance, sir, it's a resolution.
It's a resolution.
Yes.
Which says you're going to do it. It didn't go through committee.
It's going to go to judiciary.
It's going to go, well, why do we have to pass this then, tonight?
This is how we get started.
Resolution of the city council, the city of Waukegan declaring its official intent to undertake the financing of the redevelopment of property in the city of Waukegan. That sure
Yes.
tells me that, hey, we're going forward with it. I'm sure the intent may be, but it'd be nice to go through committee first. And
It
then
will,
we
it
can-
will go to judiciary
Well, Why do
committee.
we need this then?
This starts the process. This gives them the incentive to continue
The
with their.
process could sure come to the committee first. and then-
It happened, this is exactly what we did with bridge development. The same thing occurred with the bridge development project. This project is $22 million.
We need,
to the city.
we need to get your council more involved and more informed of what's going on. Instead of hitting the council here on Monday night, first I heard about it right tonight. And you're asking me to vote, make an intelligent decision with no research on my part. We have 9 people up here that are supposed to represent their areas and do their very, very best that they can do for the city of Waukegan. I'm sure in your mind, it's probably be the very, very best.
There's no
I'm sure-
question it's the very best.
I'm sure you're positive, but we need to know that too. We can't just, because you say, it, we have to, in our own mind, really get behind this 100%, say that this, Mayor, bless you, you're working your butt off, but here it comes tonight, you say, vote on it. I'm going to ask to hold it over.
And that's fine. If that's the call, I'll put this in judiciary committee. And you can discuss it in judiciary. So I'll refer this to the judiciary committee.
That's fine.
Obviously, Alderman Rivera, you're aware of what's happening.
Absolutely.
You have been part and parcel of this project
I
from day one.
There's no question about
So there's nothing that you can, any questions you have, refer to Noel, myself, Tina, or Russ, and we will answer those questions.
And you
I
can do
spoke
that
to
with the
Steve
next
Martin
meeting.
earlier today.
I'm ready to vote
Okay.
on after the
You
committee
know,
meeting.
sir, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not angry about this. It's
No,
just,
neither.
we'll just get this through the Judiciary Committee. Russ, can we have the time to do that? Okay, so we have time to get this through. I know it's time sensitive, that's why I brought it tonight. Okay, that's referred to the Alderman Rivera and the Judiciary Committee. Alderman's time, Madam Clerk?
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman
Alderman's time.
Tempest.
I pass.
Alderman May. Alderman Velco.
Pass.
Alderman Rivera.
Hey, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving coming up, so please be safe and enjoy the holidays.
Alderman Cunningham.
I too would like to wish everyone and their families a happy Thanksgiving for the holidays. Two, Your Honor, you and I spoke about this in your office, and what I would like to do is put in committee that we start looking at amnesty for parking tickets in the city of Waukegan. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the last time we did this was about maybe 10 years ago.
Yes, and Alderman, thank you for bringing that suggestion to me, and I am certainly in favor of amnesty. It's an opportunity for us to get some money rather than no money, so I will talk to Corporation Council, and we will begin that program.
Thank you, sir. Second, third, we'd like to send the condolences out to Officer Bailey. His mother, Barbara Bailey, passed. Her service was this past week at Gideon Missionary Baptist Church. So for all those aldermen and friends of this officer, he lost his mom. Please send your prayers and condolences to them and their family. And I think I had this on my list, the parking issues for students at St. Martin de Porres. I am going to be speaking with Mr. Preston. I know he was here, so we can probably have a better understanding of what we can get our parents involved. As I said earlier, we have a lot of parents in the morning time, and it's no fault of their own. They are in a rush to drop their children off, and it's brutal. It's just brutal in the morning. It's very, very tight. So I'm going to work with him to see if we can come up with a resolution that's going to be a win-win for everybody. But thank him and those involved. If any suggestions, thank you, Alderman May, for your suggestion by using our the office of the ward to help out with the resolution. Again, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Alderman Conken.
Yeah, along with Alderman Cunningham and everybody else, happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the city. Please realize that it is getting colder and that more people will be dropping their kids off at school rather than letting them walk. Tom, we ready for the cold weather that's coming ahead? Absolutely. All right, we're all set. I don't want to use any bad four-letter words, but just realize, everybody, that it's coming, it's cold, and keep warm and have a happy holiday. Thank you.
Alderman Moiseo.
Yeah, just a couple comments, quick. We talked a lot about TIFs and taxes a little bit up here, and a while back I asked Tina, how do we get our tax rate down? The tax rate is astronomically high. We all understand that. Part of that's because our EAV is so low. And I asked her about the bridge development. Now, the bridge development does not really help us with our tax rate because we annexed it into Waukegan and it wasn't there before, so we're not going to get anything. But of that 200 and some odd acres, the thing that people don't understand is we're going to get a tremendous amount of water revenue, building permits, and things like that. In a development like that, 230 acres, it's not going to require a lot of services. Residents usually are what require police, fire, public works. Industrial parks and developments like that do not require a lot of services. There'll be some services out there. We'll have to plow the main roads. Obviously, there'll be some police calls out there and some fire calls. But 230 acres, and I asked Tina briefly, and she couldn't, and I understand why, but 230 acres is a lot of land and a lot of buildings that will use water. That's going to be a tremendous revenue boost to the city of Waukegan. And all these other projects that the mayor and the city council is trying to get going in the city of Waukegan, our goal is obviously development. Development's good for a lot of reasons, but also because we've got to try to get our tax rate down. We all up here understand that our tax rate is too high. It's too high, but our EAV is too low. Our EAV is not going to raise dramatically that quickly. So what's the other alternative? You need to spread the pain. You need more, lack of a better word, taxpayers to help carry the burden. That's why I think you see the mayor being so aggressive with development, because that's the only way we can get our tax rate down.
That's right.
That's the only way. There's no other way to get that tax rate down. We got to spread the pain, so we need development because the value of our homes, the value of our property, just look at your own, is not going up. And there's a million, there's not a million, there's a lot of reasons for that I'm not going to get into. But I want people to understand that that's what the plan is. And again, that's why I think you see the mayor and the council to somewhat why we're trying to get this development going, because that's going to help us in the long run. Thank you.
Alderman Beedley?
I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Having said that, I'd like to take another whack at the teachers. You know, the strike has been over for more than a month, and their blue ribbons are still up on the utility poles, our traffic signal poles. You know, I pulled them out of the Fourth Ward myself, and then they all returned. They put them back up. You know, I can't understand how somebody can do something like that and then not remove it. That, to me, is just like the kid that puts his stickers all over our signs or spray paints on somebody's garage door. It's vandalism, it's graffiti. But I guess they don't see fit to remove their graffiti. So I would suggest that if any teachers are listening to this, they get off their lazy duff and remove all those blue ribbons. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you.
Alderman Newsom?
I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving as well. And with that,
I will say to you, do not worry about myself and Alderman Valco, because we will be in Cancun, Mexico, with 16 of our friends for the next 10 days. With that, meeting adjourned, motion adjourned by Alderman Tempest, second by Alderman Mosier. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Good night.